Poverty can be defined as a person, families, and group of persons whose resources, which is a material, cultural, and social, are so limited to exclude them from the minimum acceptable way of life in the member of state to which they belong. Poverty is divided into two, which is rural poverty and urban poverty. Urban poverty is crisis faced by new households from the urban area and where the economic activity resulted to unemployment and high inflation. As for rural poverty, it is faced by people from rural area who are insufficient income to buy basic necessities. Malaysia show a successfulness in eradicate poverty after independence with the establishment of new economic policy in 1970. In 1970, Malaysian poverty rate was 49.3% and it keeps improving, whereby in 2019 the poverty rate was 5.6%. That include 405,441 household only. As compared to Indonesia, it shows an improvement where in 1999, Indonesia poverty rate was 27.13% and last year, it was reduced to 9.78%. Even Malaysia much more lower poverty rate, but both countries show a decreasing rate of poverty with the efficient strategy to overcome the issue of poverty.
Is one AISYAH binti Wan Abdul Aziz. So I will explain the first issue of urban poverty, which is a large scale of urbanization. So basically, the total of urban population in Malaysia increased significantly by year. As we can see in 2015, the number of population is 22.8 million. In 2016, the number is 23.3 million. In 2017, 23.9 million. And in 2018, 24.4 million. This large scale of urbanization happened due to the massive migrant of rural people to the urban area. The rural migrant think that the urban area will provide them with enough necessities and job opportunity, and this had influenced them to move to the urban area. However, as a result, when there is a large scale of urbanization, this will increase the competition to get the job. And for the rural migrant, they might be it will make them hard to get a job since they are lack education and skill. So the rural migrant will have a hard situation in surviving in the urban area. As a result, this will increase the urban poverty that came from the rural migrant. The next issue of urban poverty is increase in the cost of living among the urban community. So basically, the total cost of living for a single individual in Kuala Lumpur is RM3,262, and this number is 3 times higher than the minimum wages of RM1,200. So for the lower income group, they will feel burdened with this cost of living since they might not be able to afford the basic necessities such as food, clothing, rental, and many more. Besides, one of the factors that had influenced to increase in the cost of living since the government had implemented the privatization program to the major agencies, and this privatization program can be seen to the TNB, Syabas and Hospital Kuala Lumpur. Since this privatization had been implemented, the citizen will feel burdened since they need to pay for the service that been provided by these agencies. As before this, the service is given as free of charge.
Assalamualaikum. My name is FARISYA binti Wan AMRAN. I will explain about the next issue.
Next, the issue is poor strategy and enforcement by the government. The government strategy gives much more attention on the rural area and neglecting the poor who live in urban areas. The government also focus on helping poor people in rural areas such in a program Amanah Itiam Malaysia that provide the loan for the people in the rural areas. But this program was stopped due to Pakatan Harapan decision when they become ruling parties for the Malaysia. Other than that, the government also has developed and execute 9 incentives for rural area under the Ministry of Rural and Regional Development, such as income increment program, training and career program, housing assistance and others. Thus, this strategy is not effective because the poor people is more at urban areas and the strategy is not helping urban poverty. Moreover, people also struggling with the minimum wages at urban area, which is 1,200. This is minimum wages is quite low to raise cost of living at urban area. It is important to raise minimum wages to give people that have low education to improve their life. It is because people are not demanding salary due to their low qualification to find a better job. Thus, government must help this group to improve minimum wages and help to eradicate poverty.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Muhammad ISKANDAR bin HAMZAH. I will present the relevance of government strategy and implementation. Firstly, government strategy and implementation in housing. In Malaysia, increase of urban migration over the previous 3 decades has raised a demand for affordable housing in the city that resulted in scarcity for affordable housing. This is one of the factors that cause urban poverty in Malaysia. Therefore, one of the government efforts to solve this issue is implementing Project Perumahan Rakyat (PPR) to help the low-income group, which is B40 group, to have comfortable place to live. This PPR consists of 2 categories, namely PPR rented, which is a very low rate of 124 ringgit, and PPR owned as 35,000 per unit in Peninsular Malaysia and 42,000 per unit in Sabah and Sarawak. However, there is a question whether this program have achieved the objective in order to reduce the urban poverty in Malaysia. There is a study conducted found that the level of housing development in the Subang Valley PPR area is accelerating. This is further strengthened by the construction of new monorail that will make easier for the resident in PPR area to get to the city. Not only that, other facilities such as shopping mall are also increasing. Therefore, the development will offer more job opportunity toward residents of PPR, as well as the unemployment rate will decrease. As we can see, the implementation of the PPR not only can provide affordable housing for urban poverty, but also increase the economy of the people who live in that area. Next, government strategy and implementation in job opportunity. Unemployment among low-income head of household living in low-cost apartment in the city of Kuala Lumpur has increased since the implementation of the Conditional Movement Control Order. In order to combat this issue, the government has implemented a program Kerjaya Up. Up stands for urban poor. This is to reduce the unemployment rate among the urban vulnerable, which is held at the Setiawangsa Community Centre. This program offered 10,305 job vacancies from various industries, which include interview for vulnerable individuals in urban area. Program Kerjaya Up also provide career counselling service, resume production, interview clinic, business registration session, entrepreneurship and financial advisory service, career training and e-kasih registration. However, even though program Kerjaya is able to offer job to the qualified candidate, the level of success of this program is still low. This is because based on the statistic, program Kerjaya Up helped only 485 candidates gain employment right away after it was introduced for the urban poor and hardcore poor. This can be seen that this program did not give a lot of impact to the vulnerable group due this program organized only for 12 days from 1 April until 12 April. An applicant may not be able to visit every employer who opened up his interest due to the lack time to search for the right employment suitable for his or her qualification. In short, this program helps people a lot due to the fact that it's gathering many employer and candidate in one place in the process for applying for a job, but it should organize a longer period of time to ensure people have enough preparation to convince the employer to hire them.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Muhammad Haykal bin Yusni. So the third point is infrastructure development. Most of Malaysia's development plans and policies, as mentioned in many publications, have resulted in considerable improvements in physical infrastructure, such as access to the road network and also job possibilities for the urban workers. Jalinan Digital Negara Action was aimed to improve Malaysia's digital connectivity by improving the country's infrastructure's efficiency and optimizing spectrum utilization. This infrastructure is being built with the goal of increasing connection and providing high quality communication services to all consumers. This infrastructure development is crucial for Malaysian since Malaysian must work from home, and improvement in internet service coverage can increase their productivity and efficiency. Thus, those who do not possess the good internet quality can affect the organization to progress objectives, and the person might be fired. Furthermore, internet access also can help reducing urban poverty indirectly since they can run their business through online platform. Moreover, the level of efficacy of the development infrastructure in Malaysia does not give a huge impact on reducing poverty since COVID-19 pandemic Malaysia hit. This is because jobs opportunity are limited to the people in urban area. However, in the second half of 2021, significant infrastructure project will be completed faster, and new contracts will be awarded to revitalizing the economy. So the last point is educational facilities. Education is very vital in Malaysia, and in fact every child in Malaysia have the right to pursue their studies. However, access to education is very limited to the poor group of students. Many public schools in Malaysia have the ICT rooms that will allow the students to have the opportunity to learn on how to use the technologies. One of the Ministry Education's key goals is to improve the computer awareness among students. Thus, schools have been outfitted with computer labs and IT teachers. Moreover, during this pandemic of COVID-19, the learning activities for all levels of students have been interrupted. But the government had legislated a policy to assist the low-income group students to have the technology to pursue their online-based learning. Under the stimulus package called as Jaringan Prihatin, the government has collaborated with Yes Internet Service Provider, and they had offered two options for the below 40 group to enjoy the assistance. The plan of Yes Prihatin, according to YTL Foundation program, Datuk Kathleen Chu, are a continuation of the Learn From Home program, which aim to engage students digitally to their schools. Lastly, YTL has issued over 18 million gigabyte of free data, 450,000 free SIM card, and 100,000 free phones since the Learn From Home initiative began in March 2020. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad ALIUDDIN. So moving on to the recommendation. The first recommendation that I would like to highlight is government can building a affordable housing unit. Affordable housing can be defined as two housing units that are affordable to the people whose income is less than the median household income. In Malaysia, the closer term is to affordable housing is local housing unit. So due to the high cost of housing nowadays, low-income families have little left over for other important expenses, resulting in difficult for them to budget in the future. Low cost housing unit will allow family to put more money toward other important household needs and future saving. Low cost housing unit not only will reduce the urban poverty, it will also help low income citizens to save more money and access better job, and lastly improve health. So for the second recommendation is that I would like to highlight, the government can increase the job opportunity to reduce the urban poverty. The government need to provide more job opportunity with fair wages to the citizen, especially in urban area, to help enhance economic growth. This can be done by using this strategy. First, spend money on public work. Public work such as construction can get an instant work for the unemployed person to get job. Second is to give subsidy to the private sector employer to hire the workers. So, for example, the government can give subsidy for first 3 months, and then for next 3 months can give half subsidy to the employers. So to make sure that they keep an employees for first 6 months. The third strategy is to reducing tax burden on private employees. Reducing tax such as corporate tax and other unnecessary tax can help the business keep more money. The money that they keep from the tax, reducing tax burden, can help they increase more employment, because they will use that money to hire more employee. That's all.
The other method that can be used by the government to reduce urban poverty is providing a better town planning. Town planning can be defined as the practice of managing resources. It entails maintaining control over current and new development, as well as developing a strategy to meet future demands. And one of the strategy is improving welfare. Welfare can be defined as a help that is being given especially by the state or organization to people who in need, especially because they do not have enough money. Families that have many children have a large number of responsibilities, such as medical, healthcare, food expenses, education, and so on. By improving welfare, the family can better focusing in managing their income and salary to the other areas that are crucial for the expenses, such as car loan, home rent, and others. Examples of the plan that has been used is sensitive neighborhoods and integrated approach the revitalization neighborhoods in Montreal, Canada. Second plan that can be used by the government to reduce urban poverty is reducing cost of living in the city. The cost of living refers to the amount of money required to pay basic costs such as housing, food, taxes, and healthcare in a certain location and time period. The high cost of living comes from many areas, such as the price of the goods, item, poverty values, and lower wage. Because of the high cost of living in the city, people do not have enough disposable income to make saving and spending on the other items that are like. This makes the people in the city vulnerable to element of uncertainty because they did not have enough saving or disposable income. One of the example or methods that have been used by the other government is minimum wage order 2020 in Malaysia. This method is introduced by the government to set the minimum wage to all the workers who live in the major city in Malaysia. The Prime Minister also ensured the minimum wage will be reconsidered over time to make sure it is good and well suited as the time goes by.
As for the conclusion, poverty is a great and hard issue to overcome by the government and the other organisation. During pandemic COVID-19 that we face today, to solve the issue become more harder because in this situation, it make a lot of economic sector need to be closed to control the spread of the virus, and this make people lost their sources of income. Government, in giving help during COVID-19, has announced the stimulus package amounted 229 billion ringgit to help people who are in need. Hence, every person must take part to help the government in eradicate the poverty. Lower poverty rate for the country will improve the quality of people and closing the gaps between the rich and the poor that lead to development of the country.